Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm be doing a video on my 7 favorite things about Momo, the Pool, a short horror film. This is one that came out last year that I think everyone needs to see, so make sure to check it out if you haven't already. With that said, let's begin. Number 1. Creepy setting. From the moment that we are introduced to this film, we know we are in for something special. The entire movie takes place in and around an eerily empty pool. It has a creepy, slightly abandoned feel to it. And the fact that it's all alone in the middle of nowhere adds to the isolation and hopelessness that permeates throughout the film. It's the perfect setting for a horror movie. You have everything you need: darkness, water, isolation, and just enough room to keep you from feeling like you can get away. It's got me wondering why no one had thought of filming a horror movie in a pool before. It's a great way to utilize a space that most people would consider relaxing and fun and turn it into a nightmare. Number 2. Momo. As I stated in my previous review of this film, Momo is one of the best creations in recent horror history. Everything about her is creepy. Her appearance, how she moves, and the uncertainty of who or what she is creates an aura of mystery and danger around her character. When she first appears in the film, she's sitting motionless at the bottom of the pool and doesn't move for an extended period of time. Then once she begins moving around, her jerky, unnatural movements make us question her sanity. Her long, dirty hair, rotten teeth, pale skin, and vacant stare make us never want to look directly at her. She looks like someone took the corpse of a young girl and brought it back to life. We don't know if she's human, if she's alive, or if she even has a soul. But whatever she is, we know that she means business. And the way she carries herself makes her a far more terrifying villain than any other horror movie monster. One thing that really gets me is the fact that there's no backstory for her. And the film never explains why she is in the pool or how she became the way that she did. But that ambiguity is what makes her so scary. There's also something incredibly unsettling about the idea of a child being so messed up. Kids are supposed to be innocent, pure, and full of life. So when you have a little girl who is anything but those things, it really unnerves you. If this was an adult, it would be different. But the fact that it's a kid makes it that much worse. There's also something very primal about children that freaks us out. They're helpless and weak, yet they seem to hold so much power over us. It's like we're constantly afraid that they're going to do something to hurt themselves or others. And that fear is only amplified by the fact that they're so unpredictable. We never know what they're going to do next. That unpredictability is what makes them so dangerous. No. 3. Tension builds slowly. Filmmakers do an excellent job of building tension slowly throughout the course of the short. Instead of relying on jump scares or loud noises to scare you, they let the silence and the empty space around Momo do the work for them. In one scene, for example, Momo is standing at the edge of the pool, and she slowly begins to lean forward. The camera doesn't move, so we're stuck watching her get closer and closer to the water. And you can practically feel the tension building up until finally she lets out a scream and jumps in. Another scene that I found particularly effective is the one where the 2 girls are swimming underwater and they suddenly realize that they're not alone. The camera follows them as they try to find their way to the surface, and the longer they underwater, the more desperate they become. This scene is a masterclass in building suspense, because it relies on our primal fears of drowning and being trapped. It's also a testament to the power of silence in horror movies. The filmmakers didn't need to add any music or sound effects to make this scene scary. The silence itself was enough to do the job. Then once Momo starts making her presence known, she does it in the most subtle ways possible. For example, in one scene she's lying on the ground and she lets out a loud scream. But instead of showing us what caused the scream, the filmmakers choose to focus on the reaction of the characters. And the audience is left to imagine what could have caused such a commotion. This type of ambiguity is what makes this film so effective. It allows the audience to fill in the blanks with their own imaginations, which is often scarier than what we actually see on screen. No. 4. It's full of surprises. The filmmakers of this film do a great job of keeping us on edge by throwing in a few good jump scares. There's one particular scene that I won't spoil here, but it's one of the best executed jump scares that I've seen in a long time. In addition to the jump scares, the film also has plenty of psychological horror to keep us guessing. We never know what Momo is planning next or what her endgame is. And that uncertainty keeps us on edge for the entire short. It feels like at any moment she could strike and we'd be helpless to stop her. Trust me, you won't see the ending coming. No. 5. There's very little dialogue. The lack of dialogue in this film is actually one of its greatest strengths. It forces us to focus on the visuals and the sound design, which are both top-notch. When there's no dialogue, we have to rely on our imaginations to fill in the gaps. And that often leads to a more intense and disturbing experience. For example, in one scene, the two girls are hiding in a closet and they start to hear footsteps outside the door. The camera focuses on their terrified faces as they try to stay silent and hope that whoever is outside the closet doesn't hear them. Because there's no dialogue, we're forced to focus on the sound of the footsteps and the girls breathing. And that creates a level of tension that would be impossible with dialogue. The lack of talking also adds to the realism of the film. When people are in a state of panic or fear, they don't usually talk. They scream, they cry, they run around frantically trying to escape, but they rarely talk in complete sentences. The silence is what makes this film so unsettling. It's the silence of dread and fear. It's the silence of a nightmare. No. 6. It's short. This is one of those rare horror films that clocks in at under 10 minutes and still manages to pack a punch. In fact, I'd say that this is one of the most intense and horrifying shorts I've seen in quite some time. It wastes no time getting straight to the scares, and it leaves you feeling unsettled long after the credits roll. The reason this works so well is because the filmmakers are clearly concise with their storytelling. Every shot counts, and every second moves the story forward. They don't waste our time with unnecessary exposition or character development. We understand everything we need to in order to follow the plot and care about the characters. And that allows the film to move at a brisk pace without feeling rushed. The short runtime also adds to the film's overall impact. We're thrown into the story and immediately confronted with Momo and her creepy demeanor. Don't have time to get comfortable or settled in. And that disorientation mirrors the panic and fear that the characters are experiencing. By the end of the film, we're just as exhausted and traumatized as they are. No. 7. Clever camera work. The cinematography in this film is fantastic. The camera angles and movements are creative and serve to increase the sense of dread and claustrophobia throughout the story. For example, their S1 scene, where the camera has to literally go underwater to capture the perspective of the characters as they try to escape Momo. Another thing that I really appreciated was the use of symmetry and framing. In one scene, for example, Momo is sitting at the bottom of the pool, and the camera is positioned directly above her. This creates a sense of balance and stability, which is then disrupted when she suddenly moves. It's a simple effect, but it's very well done, and it adds to the overall creepiness of the film. Overall, the camera work in this film is masterful. The crew knew how to use the camera to create a sense of unease and tension that lingers long after the film has ended. And finally, number 8. It has an unforgettable finish. This film doesn't have a happy ending, but it doesn't need one. The ambiguity of Momo's fate and the overall sense of dread that pervades the film is enough to leave us thinking long after the credits have rolled. In fact, I would say that this is one of the most memorable horror films I've even seen in quite some time. The images and themes of the film are so disturbing that they'll stick with you for days. If you're a fan of horror movies, I highly recommend checking this film out. You can watch it online. It's free, and it's definitely worth your time. And if you enjoy this kind of content, please subscribe and comment down below. Thanks for watching.